Hey guys, coming to you with the 2013 Extreme Conditioning Challenge, month 7. This month, I would encourage you to release your addictions, and that's typically going to be having to do work back all the way to your childhood to see what void you're trying to fill. And this can range anywhere from food to drugs, alcohol. Nowadays with technology, you have cell phones, pictures, social media, television, various things that give you temporary relief, but long term there's a lot of damage with all that. And unfortunately, a lot of people will be ostracized if they try to get away from who they are, quote unquote who they are, and try and grow as a person. They're going to be rejected by those who are around them, who have come to know them as somebody with an image. We'll be talking about image next month as well. But as far as rejecting your addictions and addressing them, check out the food that you're eating and the addictive qualities that it becomes over time through biology. Really the source of that is you're trying to fill a void. And so you need to look back in the childhood and see, if you eat a lot of poor food choices, is it because you're unmotivated to cook healthy food, which I've had a lot of issues with that. Through my career, I've worked with obese parents and children, and this is severe obesity. An 11-year-old shouldn't weigh 190. The specific girl over the course of 2 years gained 50 pounds. From obese parents who had a registered dietitian they were working with, but I was their fitness trainer. And the reason why over the course of a couple years everyone in the family was gaining weight is because they did not want to take the time to cook food. They wanted to stop at a drive-thru. And so they become wired in that sense. That is what the lifestyle in America should be. So if we're such a great country, why is everybody looking for those outs? Everybody meaning people with attachments to an addiction. Laziness would be kind of a black and white thing way to describe it. You can look back to what the brain is wired to do, what it did not have the ability to do in childhood, and the chemicals that are released as a child, and the neurons were never wired correctly if you had deprivation. So trying to fill voids through food, drugs, alcohol, attention on social media sites, these are all things that typically can be traced back to childhood. So you're going to have to do a lot of work to get rid of your addictions. And I'll just tell you some stories about myself. Growing up, I've traced back a lot of what I've gone through as to why different times in my life, why would I eat? My thing was frozen pizza. And I'm a fitness guy, and I know I can always get rid of my body fat in a month or two. So I never worried about it because I knew how to do it. So the process became a problem though, because my health suffered quite a bit. And so I wanted the sense of a home-cooked meal. So what I do is get frozen pizzas. And as a bachelor, I would look to that for a sense of home, something that I didn't have as a child. What happens the next day, over time, is I would be tired. So what I would do was stop by the convenience store in the morning and get an energy drink. And that became my cycle. And it got to the point where with gluten issues, my adrenal dysfunction started to take place with stimulants, which is caffeine. I would crash. I had no sex drive. I wanted to sleep every time I ate anything. My insulin levels were ridiculous. Blood sugar issues, hardcore. So what I had to do, when I would have something too, I would want to sleep right away. And my face would turn very red. And within an hour of that redness, it was really hot flash style. I would start to peel because I was cooking from the inside. There's a lot of inflammation And so what started to happen was I started to figure out, why is this happening? And I traced it back to the lifestyle I had adopted, the addiction that I had adopted to feel a sense of home as a child. So with drug use, most of those people who go to drugs or alcohol do what I did with food, with frozen pizza, I should say, and with caffeine. And so they'll get involved with drugs and alcohol, and the addiction, they're looking for that dopamine release. So it's not so much the payoff of the drug or the alcohol, it's the anticipation of it. And if you didn't get that as a kid, you're going to be looking more for it going forward. And that becomes, obviously, your physiology becomes affected, and that's why the health is so poor. And also, psychology. We have one screwed up culture. And if we're such a great country and everything should be so wonderful, why do we need a fix with, let's say, the increased violence in movies, sports? I don't understand still why college football exists. It's tradition, but it damages your brain, and the whole point of a university is to build your brain. So if you want to have pro football, fine. There needs to be some kind of farm system that's independent of university. I don't agree nor comprehend outside of its money and money talks. So look at what addictions you might be having. We just saw a movie, I believe it's called Second Skin. Came out in 2009, but I was at the Art Center, the Phoenix Art Center last weekend, and it played. It's about an hour and a half. If you guys want to look it up, I'm sure it's on YouTube. These people had addiction to video games, and it's called Warcraft, World of Warcraft, I believe, where you interact kind of like social networking and get to know people. And it's a trip. How you can see people spend 12 to 16 hours a day playing video games, and they lose their whole life. They lose everything. That's another example of how the overindulgence to find happiness can destroy your life. So take a look at that movie. Take a look also at what you are addicted to, because I want to say that would be normal. It's okay to get relief once in a while, but to have diminishing returns on something just because you're trying to avoid something else, there's escape issues there. And that's what you need to do, is to reduce that and to deal with it. So, month 7, 86, your addictions, and I'll talk to you next month.